So you want to run a secondary battery in your Volkswagen Touareg. But it's tricky for the wiring because these cars are very well sealed. So this is how I'm doing it. Got the Renogy solar MPPT and the DC-DC charger. I'm going to slap that right here and just above my inverter. So when you're thinking about this stuff, you need to make sure you have something that this is obviously going to be over a bit more, just a little bit. As you can see, there's a little bit of space. Just move that over that bit, and then when you open it, it's got to clear that. So if you see that, it's got to clear. So when that's over, it'll open and close easily. And this is going to sit right there. And I took the light out. There was a light like that one right here. I just popped it out. I'm going to put LEDs maybe under this and on the side of this, so that when I open the boot, the light still lights up. And yeah, so this is all going to be hidden, and it's going to come out the vents. So with this one, it's going to come straight out and hook straight in to the ignition battery. And then I'm probably going to have to put some holes, possibly, unless I can run it back through this for the negative, for the main negative of the car, everything. That's one beautiful thing about this. The solar's negative runs through this one, the car's battery negative runs through this one, and the leisure battery runs through this one, so the secondary battery. So all the negatives run through one, so you don't have to run like 3 extra cables. So this is what I did at the start, at the front. So you need to connect it to your startup battery. And so they actually give you this in the Renogy pack, which is pretty nice. And this is, I used to have my inverter here, that's why there's all these extra cables and such. But now I can have it in the back, because yeah, I used to be running off my starter battery. So I just wired mine right into this bit here, just there. I have ran a 1000-watt inverter off it, and I've never had any issues. And that is just, let me just pop it up. It's just that connection right there. You just take one bolt off and add to it. It's nice and easy. And I didn't fuse mine, but it's fused now, which is nice. Because yeah, it was like literally just there to there to the inverter, and the inverter has, you know, safeties. And I run my MPPT because I put solar panels on my bonnet. I recently got some new Renogy solar panels, because as you can tell, these ones are very shit. My new ones are bigger than these, unfortunately, which means they're actually going to either cover my headlights, which I can't do for, you know, legal reasons, or they're going to go to here, which is very nice considering that Touaregs, you have like a maintenance mode and the window wipers go up. So I don't have to do that, because if I did that, then it would it hit this, but when they're up, it gives you like a bunch more room. So I got to make sure that fits, otherwise I only get one. But I'd like to have 200 watts on my bonnet, which would be great, have 10 amps or more coming in. So yeah, so I ran this cable. You got to go under here, and it pops out. I'll try and walk you through the whole thing. So it pops out. If you push under there, you can get it under this bit, and then sort of like push it under this and run it the whole way up, and just keep pushing it under here. It gets real tricky here, but you should be able to lever it and sort of push it in. This bit down here, you can actually see the red inside there, inside the seatbelt area. I don't know if you actually can. There it is. So yeah, as you can see, that goes in there. And then this is a bit harder of a way to do it, but to have it, I really wanted it clean so you couldn't see. But this here, this pulls out just like that. I don't want to do it all the way because it's a bit of a pain to put back in. But yeah, that pulls out, and then you can pull this bit out like this. Ooh. There we go. See, there's like a little bit of movement there. You can pull that out enough when this isn't there. When you pull that out, that can pull out a bit, and then you can get the cable in there. And then you want to unscrew these, because it's going to make it a lot easier. And that's just 2 screws there, 2 screws there, and it just lifts off. It's just that piece right there. And then you can, so sort of like push it up. Well, actually what I did was I just had the cable like just here, and I ran it all the way to the end. And then I had it at this point is where I did this. So I got this, and see how like you can really like move this whole area when this thing's not in. So I got my fingers underneath, which is a little painful, and then I shoved the cable up there. All right, so to get to this, it's a lot easier to, if you want to try and bend it, it's a lot easier to take this off, and that you have to, once you've taken this off, because it sits underneath these, so once you've taken one off, you can kind of like click it up, and it all sort of just clips up. There's no screws or anything, it's just a bunch of these little clips. It feels a bit dodgy when you're clipping it up, but it does come off relatively easy. You just kind of like gotta click and then sort of like work your way up and click it off, and then you can move this like a lot easier. Because right now I'm trying to run the negative, this negative, through this tiny little hole, so it comes out and then connects straight away, so there's no like, you know, messy cables all over the place. And I was trying to reach my arm under here and like bending it a bit, but yeah, it's gonna be way easier if I can just, whoop. That's all clipped in, and once you unclip that, you should be able to just feed whatever cables through that you need with the ease of space. And don't connect this to the battery or anything until you're like finished and everything's safe. You want to do the connection to the battery positive and the connection to this battery positive last. So absolutely everything is like, you know, schmick. And you don't want to make any mistakes with positives touching. Like if this touches a negative or touches anything, you don't want to, you know, you don't want live connections. So yeah, then you just got to, you know, put these on, and yeah, pretty much just run it all up through the fence. Should be able to hide pretty much even like a 100 amp cable, I reckon, will fit in there. Well, okay, you probably can't go over a 100 amp cable. That's pretty close. Maybe like 110, 120, especially if it has a little less insulation. But yeah, that's should also not get too hot as far as stuff goes. And yeah, I hope that helps. Alright, so I've got all my stuff out to make the connections. So as far as negative, most people probably won't like this, but I just put a hole straight through the boot of the car, and I also ran my solar through there as well. So as you can see, it's all siliconed up, and I'll show you the underneath. So this is probably one of the easiest spots to get through the car. Where is it? There it is. So you can see the red cable going in. That's it. It's a good spot. It's protected by the heat shields, and yeah, it's actually quite tricky to find a way into the car without having to cut into stuff. Oh my god, the rain! And yeah, like cut through like boots and water seals and such. So I also needed a metal connection, so I went straight through the boot, and that's what I'm connecting the metal, the earth to, the neutral. And that is where I'm connecting the neutral for this, and all of the neutral connections are going through that massive thick bolt. So that's my plan. And to run the positive and the negative, I'm going to go underneath this little storage thingy that usually sits there, and then I'm going to go up, and then that is how you can get up, easily get to where you need to go, and then I'll just push the cable up. I'm almost finished wiring it all up. It's been a bit painful. Done the temperature sensor and everything. I've still got to get rid of all the slack, just leave it in the wall. And just a heads up, I wish I would have thought of this when I was doing it, but when you run, if you plan on, obviously it's got a smart thing, so it'll know when the voltage is high enough. But if it's not, and you want to run the ignition cable when you're running the power cable, because I just have to run all this the same way that I did with the other one. So I can go to my switch at the front, that one right, that switch right there. Okay, so I realized I actually never ended that last video, so I'm ending it now. It's a couple of days later. Renogy thing is in, everything is connected up, everything works perfectly. This is in. I wired this to the actual light that's behind this. I'll just close this for a sec. So I've got, yeah, everything going in. I'm probably gonna get some black tape because it's just gonna be aesthetically a little nicer. Not that you really see it, but I know it's there and it'll look a bit nicer. So this one is for this, the 12 volt port, and it's just fused through here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's all looking pretty flush, I reckon. And this just turns on here, or from the front, or from the remote. This turns off when this one turns off. And at the moment, see how like the alternator one's flashing, as well as the solar, and that's green. So that's full. They're all full. I think it's putting a little bit into the starter battery and a little bit into the house battery. See, 1 amp coming in or using. It's kind of like floating, I reckon. Yeah, it's pretty much full. And when I first installed this app for the Renogy one, it actually didn't say anything was coming from solar. But I left it the night because on the battery said there was power coming in, so I'm like, whatever, that's good enough. I left it the night, and in the morning when the sun came up, it all worked and told me how many amps was coming in and all that business. So something I probably should mention with the solar, I'll show you how I wired that one up. So obviously it's going in here and back through there, in through the old light switch, and then around the boot. And then across, and then down to the car. Oh yeah, may as well note. So it's really good if you make everything fit because it can open and close with ease. It does drag a little bit, so I wouldn't say with ease, but good enough. It's not inconvenient. So I just routed the solar cable, which is kind of like, I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see this, but I'll give it a shot. So kind of just underneath, and then like on the upside of the heat shielding. I don't know how well this is really gonna work, but you can probably see it. It's red cable. It's fairly obvious. Yeah, so then I just brought it up next to the tire well. These are the new panels, by the way. How good are they? And I've been getting 15 amps. So 2 100 watt panels. And yeah, so then just brought it up through there because there's no hot or moving parts. And then up to here, zip tied it, and then across. It's the same way I took the external cable, so I can charge my the caravan using these panels. And then this goes to the front here, so I can charge the caravan from this port or the back. But yeah, so then I just ran it through a fuse. Sorry, yep, and then up into here, and the solar panel's positive, the solar panel's negative. And I just have it all connected inside, like inside the bonnet, like inside that bit. You just take the little clips off, and then I hope you like the awesome clean look of it. So I've got this one's positive, sorry, this one's negative, going across and then connecting to this one, and then going down and under. I have this one going across to this one's positive, and then connected and going under. So I actually connected the two cables together into one with a soldering iron, so it's a bit cleaner. How good is that though? Super clean. And yeah, 200 watts, and it is like you can't just pull that off. Check out my other videos if you want to see me rip my old panel off, the solar panel video. It's yeah, I ripped the old panel off. It's quite tricky. The 3M, not 3M, sorry. The nano tape is good stuff. Anyway, I hope you like the video, and like, subscribe, and all that biz. And if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. Catch you guys later.